All right. Well, we're definitely here and we are taking your guys' questions. So if you've got questions, get them in the chat box wherever they show up on your device. We're going to try to answer your questions, let you guys go from there. We got a poll in that chat box. This week's question is, do you guys like snowboard memes? Yes, no, only yours, and what is a meme? If you don't know what a meme is, I don't know why you're on this channel. You probably also don't know what Instagram is. So anyways, but we have the first super chat from our boy Jack Off Beat. Sean White in a leather jacket would destroy you. Someone actually commented that on one of my memes this week. And remember to subscribe. Remember to subscribe. I'm going to move this. Don't fall on me. There we go. That's a little better. It's a little better. But do you think Sean White in a leather jacket would destroy you, TC?
I mean, that was his weakest era of snowboarding. So, no, actually. That leather jacket and those tight pants aren't conducive to movement.
Those have to be really cold.
Yeah. I can't believe they greenlit that for actual outerwear one year. That blew my mind.
That's why it was severely discounted 90% off the next year. All right. Well, we got this question from Adam C. 38-year-old rider, riding since I was 13 years old. Last season, I had a minor patellar tendon sprain, no tearing. First real knee issue. Any advice on good knee sleeve or support that won't kill my mobility? I use Old Bones Therapy knee sleeves for me, like a compression one. But if you only had a minor patellar tendon sprain, you should just do a bunch of PT and build it back up, and you'll probably go right back and be fine. You tweaked your knee last year.
Mm-hmm.
Did you do anything for it?
Just kind of stretched it, rolled it out, CB days on it pretty much every day, and then pretty much one of the Theraguns and just hit that quite a bit with it, and then just loosened it up, and I felt it pop one day, and now it feels great. So
the good old pop.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, can't forget the pop on that. All right, let's see. Okay, we got one from Maxine Blizzard. Hey, Avery, hey TC, I can finally watch you live as it's my birthday today, and I'm not at work tomorrow. Loving the new format, Spin for Slim. Because it's your birthday, we'll give you a spin. Happy birthday from the United States to you in the UK. Well, you won yourself a jumbo sticker pack.
Happy
birthday, Maxine. Email me info@angrysnowboarder with your mailing address. I'll drop that in the mail tomorrow. Anyone that has won anything in the last couple weeks, everything has been shipped out. If you remember on Patreon and the sticker club, that stuff has been out. So yeah, we're good. Okay. We got Mara Kaneni 1234, 6'4", 10.5 boots and large bindings. Can I get away with a 155 Ultra Fear, or do I need a wide one? I mean, you can get away with it depending what boot you have. You're probably still going to boot out on it. I'd get the wide personally. I think that it's just going to give you more stability, especially because that board is so soft.
Yeah.
So, yeah. All right. Oh, by the way, everyone, we do have a new Slim Whitman voicemail today. So you guys will get that when we get a few more people in here. Right now, we got 75 of you. So if you're just tuning in, make sure you answer the poll in the chat box wherever it shows up on there. If you got a question, pop them in. We're going to try to answer them for you, but we're going to take this one from Coffin. It's for you, TC. TC, I'm looking at a new job where I have to pass a drug test. How have you beaten them in the past? Any tips or tricks from the multiple wins?
A lot of water, and then get a bunch of B vitamin 12 and just slug that. Try to take a week off of smoking weed, I would say. If it's any other drugs, you should be fine after a couple days. But I'm actually have a negative record when it comes to drug tests. So
you failed them?
I failed too.
Didn't get the job, huh?
No. One of them I told him straight up. I was like, yeah, dude, I smoke weed. What do you want from me? And he's like, okay, I've never had anybody tell me that in the interview. Like, all right, well, we're gonna be full transparent about this.
Well, speaking of that, I forgot to tell you next week, I'm mandating the Angry Snowboarder drug test. You need to fail it to work for me, but you have to fail it with at least 7 different things in your system.
Okay, we can do that.
So, well, let's give this man a spin. I used to sell my pee to my friends because they knew I didn't do drugs. It was hilarious. Remember to join Angry Snowboarder VIP. All right. So we got this question from Andrew, and I'm going to let you take it. Do we really need GoreTex?
Depending on where you are, I would say so. If you're like far out west in like the PNW, definitely going to want GoreTex. But if you're like in Colorado or even like the East Coast, you're not going to need it. Like 20,000 is probably the max you're going to need, I would say, for like breathability and waterproofing. But like pretty much you don't need it. It is nice to have, but some GoreTex does feel like a trash bag. So I think it's kind of a waste in that sense if you're not going to need it.
I hate GoreTex. It makes me feel slimy. I've owned one GoreTex thing, and I'm pretty sure I just left it. I think I left it in the Northwest when I moved away. I was just like, I'm not taking this, and I just threw it because we had this like little rape cabin behind our house. I don't know what the hell it was. I think it was a craft cabin or something. Had a wood stove. It had electric and a wood stove and an electric heater, but it didn't have water. I don't know what it was. We were paying rent. We got the whole place. We left a lot of things in there when I moved to Steamboat. I was like, I'm never going to need this. I'm moving to Colorado. Bye. So, also, this is hilarious from Brian P. My son's new little kid union bindings came in a union lunchbox. Now I feel like I've been getting screwed out of lunchboxes this whole time. I mean, you're not wrong. I'm kind of jealous. I want a free lunchbox. I could have like a whole collection of them back here.
They used to come with a cooler, so you could like throw in like a 6-pack when you're taking your kid to like the mountain and just have them like walk behind you pretty much. It was a sweet little gig.
Would be awesome. All right. We got this super chat from Delo. First mistake, bought an Epic Pass, and now probably going to miss the whole season because need back surgery. Any idea what to do with my pass or maybe a refund? If you bought the pass insurance, you can hit them up. You need to keep calling until you can get not just the ground level idiots, but until you can get up to management that is like, yeah, we're going to refund you. If you did not buy the pass insurance, they're going to bend you over and fuck you in the ass to get your money out of them. So you need to start there. Then after that, you call the credit card and you have them back charge it. And you just tell them that this is freaking unreal. You tried to work with them. Make sure you document every time you called them and who you talk to just in case. But you let your credit card company deal with that. So
I would also say you might be able to like defer it if you want. But I mean, if you don't want an Epic Pass in the first place for next year even, then yeah, just call them and be like, hey, I got this. Doctor's orders, can't do it.
Right.
And
I mean, that's the thing.
Like, be nice with them too. That's a big thing. Just be nice with them and just try to keep working up the ladder and just be like, hey, I need to talk to somebody a little bit above your pay scale.
All right. Luke Desanier, which brands have figured out how to make eco-friendly top sheets that are durable? I'm tired of boards looking old and beat after just a few days. Here's your problem. You don't have a file. When you get a new board, you take a file, very fine file, and you go around the top sheet and you put a slight bevel in it. That way, if anyone bumps into you in the lift line, it doesn't break. Oh, we also owe Delo a spin too. I forgot. I'm all over the place here. I'm tired. It's been a week. Hot soup coming through. I could use some hot soup right now. But yeah, use a file on your top sheet. As far as environmentally friendly ones, I mean, if it's got the wood top sheet and you bevel it, you're probably going to be fine. That's the whole thing with that. All right. Okay. Dean, if I was to fly from Australia to the USA, what resort would you recommend me going to? Oh, God. It's a hell of a flight to come here and stand in line. You want to get off the beaten path a little bit. Steamboat's not a bad option. I'd say Aspen. If you're doing Tahoe, maybe Palisades or even Mammoth, because you could fly Australia to LA, LA to Mammoth. And it's like, that wouldn't be bad. Or you could do that LA to Montana and maybe go to Big Sky or something. I don't know. What would you say? Trollhagen?
Yeah, definitely get out to Troll, rip some rails up, and then I would say
Then go
Jackson.
to Ski Cooper.
Then go to Ski Cooper. Same lifts. You're going to be right at home with the lifts, so you'll be okay there. Jackson Hole, I would say.
That's a good
You should
one.
be all right there. We shouldn't be crazy busy. Otherwise, I mean, Copper at the right time of season would be really fun to go to because you have so much different terrain there. But yeah, I think you covered like the big ones. I'd probably stay away from the East Coast. Unless you want to go ride inside in like our summertime. That would actually be kind of fun.
Yeah. Yeah, go to New Jersey and go ride the Dome.
Yeah.
All right. Let's take this one from Jason Evangelista. Hey guys, thoughts on snowboard body armor? Not that shit turtle butt pads. Have you used them? I think I'm getting them days in the park spray skiers. No. Like when there's okay, butt pads, I can understand. Like the hip and the butt pads, you want the ones that are super form fitting, and you need to make sure it's got the triangle right above the butthole. So for your caustics, so if you take it to the ass on a rail, it'll do it. But by and large, like when people tell me body armor, I think of these fucking idiots that I see show up with mountain bike shit. And I'm like, why the fuck do you have that on? You're not going to hit your upper body that hard. Like, you're talking to a guy that back tacoed a tree at like 40 miles an hour and just got up and was like, ugh. Then grabbed the tree and ripped it out of the ground and then rode away. But like body armor, might have done that. Spine protector. Like the odds of you actually hitting your spine are so much smaller than you think. Like your big injuries, blown ACL, MCL because you didn't make it to the knuckle. So you knuckled the jump because you followed Kevin from Snowboard Pro Camp's advice, or you overshot it. Broken wrist because you scorpioned or you fell off the rail and you stuck your hands out rather than bring everything in. And then like a shoulder separation or dislocation. Like those are the most common injuries that you're going to have. Other than that, like a lot of stuff is usually just like compression and shit because you came down wrong. So you compress your spine or whatever. And so that's a little different than everything else. So, but you know, I don't know. It's would you wear full body armor, TC?
No, I wear butt pads though. I do wear like the G-Shock ones or the G-Form that are like, they're soft when you sit on it. So like sitting on the chairlift, it doesn't suck. But when you like smack it really hard, it turns like really hard. And I've had those for like 3 years. They're like a pretty much like compression shorts with like that padding in the hips, the butt, and like right underneath your ass for your butthole. But those ones are awesome. Like I've had them for 3 years and I wear them every time I ride.
I didn't
Make
even
it a hard.
know you wore them.
Yeah, they're that comfy. It does make it a pain in the ass to take a piss with, though. I will say that.
Is that why you always take so long?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I gotta like reach up in and then go under and over and like pull down my shorts and hold that with one hand and then pull up my dick with the other hand and then pee, and it's a mess, dude.
Meanwhile, I'm just like over there in the wide open at Copper.
Yeah.
Someone can see me from the friggin' flyer lift if they look all the way over under the goat path. I'm over there with my dick in the wind, just spraying, just like,
Nope, it takes me a while.
I'm over there writing my name as if it's graffiti.
It wasn't as bad when I wore snow pants instead of bibs, but the bibs make it that much tougher.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Bibs. That's right.
Because I can't just pull everything down. It's like, no, I got to weed through this shit. Otherwise, I'll piss all over my bibs. So, you know.
I mean, I think like impact shorts do make sense for some people. Like I've worn them on and off. It's just I've just hit a point where I'm like I'm riding less and less park, and I'm like, that's where I'm at. But that like those dudes with like the chest protectors and shit, I'm like, what the fuck? Same dude that'll show up with a Moto full face helmet, and I'm like,
I was thinking of
man, you're like got this much peripheral vision now.
Yeah, unless you're like, I could see big air jump guys hitting it or like having like that sort of stuff, like a back protector. But it's
Yeah.
like, but who the fuck's doing that? Like a lot of people I know that are hitting like the big jump line that are going like 100 feet to the sweet spot. They're not wearing that stuff. As long as you make the sweet spot of the jump, your likeliness to get hurt goes severely down. Like unless you catch your edge, but like
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's the whole thing too. It's like if you're smart and you ease into park riding and you're not like gonna go balls to the wall for no apparent reason, the likelihood of you getting hurt. The other thing is if you go slow on ledges and boxes, you're gonna hurt yourself worse than going fast.
yeah.
Like rails, like everyone's like, oh, you probably were going so fast on the rail. I was like, no, I was going like 1 mile an hour and it fucking jarred me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so you want to have some speed in going into it. So, but yeah, I mean, there's stuff out there. Sweet Protection makes some good stuff that's like more form fitting and not as like bulky as well. But I don't know, elbow pads. I saw someone with elbow pads and I was like, what the? Unless you're coming through and giving them the people's elbow in the lift line or some shit, there's no reason for that. Let's give this man a spin.
I don't even like wrist guards because if you fall with those on, you'll snap your like
It moves
forearm.
the break point up to here.
Yeah. So
So
like,
you protect this, but then you break this.
and
So
now
then
you
you
got
gotta
like
use-
surgery. Now you
Yeah.
got surgery out of you.
Yeah, exactly. All right, Jason, you won yourself a small sticker pack. Make sure you email me info@Angry Snowboarder, and I will get that in the mail to you. I'm gonna try to send everything out this weekend. All right. Let's see what we got here from Andrew Lewis. Yo, Avern and TC, I have big ankle bones on the inside of both feet that create pressure points from the boa in my boots and ankle straps. Any tips for that that I would not have seen in the boot fitting 101? You can, so Roman Battalion have this thing called the pivot mount right here on the binding, and you can actually move the strap more up or down based on where your instep is so that it'll move that. The other thing is if you've got a big ankle bone and it's rubbing in there on the internal boa, you might need to go switch boots to something with an internal lace, or if you're on like a K2 with the boa conda, you got to kind of figure out how to reroute it. The other thing is you can slice the liner to give it a little more give, then put some foam, like a reverse J-bar over the top, and that'll put the pressure above where the bone is so that that's what hits the shell and everything first. You need some custom boot work if you don't. And there's other bindings. Like, doesn't some of the Jones stuff have that ability to flip the strap and it changes the cutout in there? And I think
everyone does. So does now. Well, for the most part, now does too.
Yeah, now Jones Ride, but only select models of Ride have that. But yeah, the pivot mount, because it sits so different on that chassis, so it actually like sticks out. So with that, it's something you can do that is in the higher end one. So that's something to definitely consider there. All right. All right. Let's see what we got here. Francesco Neri. Started my second season this year. Got a lot of runs in last season, and I feel like I'm progressing quickly. Any advice on a second board? My current deck is a Capita Pathfinder Reverse. I mean, keep riding that until you feel like it's squirrely as shit. And you don't need to get a new board every year. Like, you just need to ride it into the ground. Keep working on your fundamentals. Make sure you're not skidding a turn. You can actually lock your edge in and that. And then when you finally clap that board out, you've taken it to get something with camber underfoot. That's the big thing. That will. So, yeah. Okay, we'll take this super chat from Daffy John. When ordering my new board, saw fixed binding sold on the site. Not sure if I've ever heard you mention the brand. Curious if they suck or not. Cheers. Jason, the owner of Fix, has just, we talk about him sending me stuff and then it never shows up. I haven't reviewed them in years So they have a really big base tray on them. So there's a huge dead spot. Their binding is basically modular, so you can swap any part on it and stuff in there. At the end of the day, they're a binding. At least they were when I run them. They were a binding. They weren't mind blowing. I'd like to try them now. I've heard that they've changed a few things. You sold them this past winter, didn't you?
Yep. Yeah,
do you
Devo. I mean, they're pretty good binding, I would say, for like the price point. I would call it almost like a poor man's Force, like the old Force.
Oh, so like the Force Classic?
Yes. Yeah, like a poor man's version of that, where it has a very similar look to it, a little bit softer of a high back, depending on which model you're talking about. And then they didn't have like molded straps, so it was a comfy strap from what I've heard from people that have ridden it. I have a few friends that actually ride it, and they like it. But yeah, you're not going to get the most response out of the binding by far. And also depends what board you're putting it on. Like if you're putting it on like a Battalion, like Evil Twin or something, I would say go for it. But if you're trying to put it on something a little bit more aggressive, it might not be the binding and probably isn't the binding for you.
I would agree with that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
At best, I think their stiffest binding is middle of the road.
Yes.
Like I don't think they offer anything stiffer than that. And I think their whole company thing is very freestyle focused.
Mm-hmm. Very like jib focused, I would say, in the freestyle side too.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's give this man a spin. Ugh. All right. Next question is for TC. So, you get to answer a Backcountry Gear question. Stu Hain, I'm doing a touring trip this January, and I'm wondering if Karakoram Nomads or Spark Arcs would be the better choice. I usually ride stiff boot bindings. Currently, the ride Deadbolt with the Atlas. Thoughts?
So Karakoram does have quite a few moving parts to it, which I hate, especially when setting it up. The Sparks, I do like those because it's a simple slide in, slide out thing. The only thing before you get out there, make sure you slide those in and out quite a few times because sometimes they can get stuck when it's too tight. They send it with like, what is it? Just some like grip tape or some sandpaper. Make sure you file that down to make it perfect. But I mean, it's a lot of personal preference there. Like a lot of people will go with the Karakorams because they're super heavy duty, but then you have to remember that it's going to be heavier when you're going up than the Sparks are. And then when you do buy the Sparks, you're most likely going to have to buy the pucks separate than where the Karakorams, I believe, come with everything. The Sparks, you're going to have to buy pucks. And then in that case, it's either a flat puck or a canted puck. And depending on, since you have Atlases, I would say going with the canted puck, just make it feel a little bit more similar to what you have. But I'm more of a Spark guy myself.
Oh, there we go. All right, so I see we got 134 people in here, so I feel like it's time for a Slim Whitman voicemail for everyone. Because, it's been a few weeks since we've heard anything from good old Slimothy J. Whitman. So last we knew he was running the streets of Calcutta, I think, or Calcutta. I don't know. He's somewhere over there. But let's see what Slimmy's up to today. Is that going to play?
Yeah. This message is for Adrian, the angry snowboarder. Adrian, it's your friend Slim. I will try to compose myself. Because I have just exited the offices of a new attorney for Slim.
Lovely.
A new attorney. And this attorney is located here in Bangkok. Yes, Bangkok. And I have learned that it is not called Siam. It is in fact called Thailand. You fucking thick nose. Listen to me. I have been stuck here now for weeks because when I called it Siam, you didn't come back to me. And as it turns out, many of the locals here, they do not like that. They do not like it when Slim Whitman calls Thailand Siam. So in Bangkok, I am stuck in hiding with an attorney. You fucking thick nose. I rode a snowboard over 400 days.
400 days.
Ago. Okay. In the middle of your COVID-19, I still managed 400 days in a season. Can you say that? Can any of your fucking fans say that? Your stupid chat? Oh, yeah. Okay. My attorney gave me, he calls a tranquilizer.
Quaaludes?
That's what's calming me down. So I'm calm now. Sun is calm. I am still in a Bangkok, but I will be back, my friends. I am making my way stateside. And when I do, I'm going to find you.
Oh, God.
We will get 400 days together next season. 400 days of swimming. Anyway, oh, God.
400 days of Slim, everybody. That man got 400 days in a 365-day year. I do like that he made it to Bangkok. Maybe he'll marry himself off to a nice lady boy. Oof. Oof. You ever gotten 400 days in a season?
No.
Oh, God. All right, we're going to take this one from Anthony. Hey, Avron, trying to decide between the ride shadow ban and the deep fake this year. Typically ride groomers, but love to lap South Bowl at Keystone Trees a bit. Maybe go through the park a couple times. You want a deep fake over a shadow ban. That taper will help you. It'll have better edge hold too when you're coming back from the outback and have to deal with those fucking bulletproof Keystone groomers of death. Fucking hate that resort. I hate that resort. Oh, all right. Let's see. Oh, we've got a super chat from our boy Billy Ray Valentine. Join the Discord, smash like, and rest in peace, Ben Rice, Sierra Speed Club members, and Ace Photo from Tahoe. Yeah, Ben Rice passed, for anyone that knows who he was. Rode with Spring Break crew and stuff. So RIP to Ben in there. If you haven't joined the Discord, definitely consider doing it. Sometimes TC even makes a comment.
Mm-hmm.
Like once a week. You're like scared of that thing.
I got wrapped up in it today. I was reading about the capitalism conversation. I was like,
oh
what
my God.
the hell is going on here?
We did a deep dive on refrigerators and washing machines.
It's not always just snowboarding.
I'm just saying, my parents bought a refrigerator in 1972 from the 1950s for $20, and it died last year. And my brother actually fixed it, and now he's got it. All right. Next question is for TC. Let's see what we got. This is actually a good one for you. From Thomas Acosta. What is the flex retention like on the higher end ride boots? Also, is flex all personal preference, or is the real difference between stiff and medium boots? Lay it on him.
So, like, flex retention, I mean, normally I'll get about 65 to 70 days out of my boots to, like, feel until I start feeling it, like, go on me, especially because that urethane spine on it. Definitely, I know, like, the Insanos are going to, like, hold up better because they just have a thicker durometer or a higher durometer of urethane on the tongue and the spine, where that will hold up. When it comes to, like, flex, a lot of it is personal preference. I ride the Fuse, which they call it about an 8 out of 10. It depends. I would definitely say it's on the stiffer end. I don't really pay attention to that, like, out of 10 scale, just because it's definitely going to flex different for different body types and everything. But it pretty much is a personal preference. Definitely between a medium and a mid stiff boot, you're definitely going to notice a difference. Like if you put on like a Lasso and then put on a Fuse, it's gonna be night and day for you. And then you go up to like an Insano, which is their stiffest boot, it's gonna be like a crazy difference. So like where it almost feels like a ski boot to some people. So it's all personal preference there. Normally, if you're on a stiffer board, stiffer binding, you're more of an aggressive rider. I definitely say kind of bump it up to that like stiffer option of a boot. If you're riding more of that medium to softer boot, it'll definitely help your riding, but it depends what kind of riding you're going for, really.
Yeah, I mean, the big thing with boots is you got to realize that they make those flex ratings around a dude that's probably about 175 pounds. So if a 175-pound dude is saying it's stiff and you're a 200-pound dude everything's the same size boot and everything, you're going to flex it more. You just have more weight going into it. The other thing is, like, if you're a 200-pound dude, but you're flabby and out of shape, are you going to flex it the same as someone like me that's 200 pounds that works out and rides every day? No, it's completely different. So it's one of those things. Like, now the big thing is, like TC touched on, that urethane in the boot does make them last longer. So I ride K2 boots, which K2 ride, same parent company. They share a lot of technology in their boots. So my boots also have urethane in them. I ride the Thraxis, the second stiffest boot they make. The only thing stiffer is their Backcountry lace-up splitboard boot. And what I've noticed is, from multiple generations of Thraxis, if I go and look at the first ones to where I'm at now, the old ones, I used to blow them apart. Like, they would crease, collapse in, the toes would explode. These ones that I have now have far less damage to them. And actually, like, other than the liners packing out, I can usually squeeze, like, I can get like 150 days out of a pair of boots right now, which is absolutely insane for them, when before I was going through like 2 pairs a season because they would just destroy themselves. So, yes. Okay. All right. We'll take this one from Becca Koopa Tadazi. I'm looking for all mountain board to progress my riding. Which is best? Capita DOA, outer space living, or indoor survival? Out of those 3, it's the indoor. I think that's the most versatile one. You're going to have camber. It's got a slightly stiffer flex compared to the other 3. Great side cut. Like, personally, one of my favorite boards in the Capita lineup. What do you think, TC?
I mean, I think you hit it there with the indoor survival, where the DOA, for my personal taste, way too soft on the tip and tail of the board. And then your outer space living is like kind of like you're charging like park board, I would say, where it could be fun all mountain, but I don't think it's going to excel as much as the indoor survival does, especially if you're looking
to. Outer space living is basically a softer DOA.
Oh, I was thinking of the Outsiders. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry. Outsiders, yes, I would agree with that. I confuse those two, but outer space living, like in terms of flex, it's from stiffest to softest. It's indoor, DOA, outer space living.
Yeah.
There.
I used to call that one the mini Mercury like 3 years ago. That's pretty much what I called it. You got a soft Mercury there, but I would definitely still go with the indoor survival over the outer space.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's one of those things where it's like, I mean, the DOA can do it all, but frankly, I'm just sort of like underwhelmed with that board again. There was like 3 years where I was like, wow, this is actually like what they're saying it's supposed to be. And now I'm like, meh. Give me an indoor. I'll be happy. All right. We got a super chat from the birthday girl herself, Maxine Blizzard. Hell yes. Thank you for my birthday spin. Also loving the sprayer sticker from a long-term Slayer fan. I'm old. Spray skiers all day, every day. Punch dope kooks in the throat. It's a must. That's right. Throat punch. Which we've got a new sticker coming that just says throat punch, and it's fists. So, remember to subscribe, people. Remember to subscribe. All right. We got this one from Chris Baum. Hi, fellas. Currently on a 156, yes, standard for all mountain. I'm looking at the Rome Ravine 155, Jones Mind Expander 54, the K2 Excavator 54 for free ride powder. Dealer's choice, spray skiers. I mean, they're all going to do kind of the same thing in there. It comes down to what you want flex-wise. From stiffest to softest, it's going to be Excavator and Mind Expander. You're kind of splitting hairs. Mind Expander is a little softer. Then the Ravine is the softest out of there. Shaping-wise, my personal favorite is the Mind Expander, then the Ravine, then the Excavator. What's your take on that, TC?
I mean, going off of shaping, I'm going with the Jones Mind Expander. Then I'm going the Excavator and then the Ravine, actually. I just like the way the Excavator shaped. But yeah, I mean, pretty much splitting hairs, I would say. Like, I'd probably go Jones Mind Expander first, Excavator second, Rome Ravine third. But, I mean, they're all very similar. Like, I don't think you can go wrong with any of them.
Right. All right. Let's take the super chat from our boy Letters. Degenerate spin. Somebody has an addiction. Lose a turn. He'll be back. All Okay, so we'll take this one from EK Science. Hey, Angry, what's the flex like on the Mega Merc versus the Megadeth? Similar weight? The Megadeth is noticeably more lightweight than the Mega Merc. Flex-wise, you're kind of splitting hairs between the Mega Merc and the Megadeth. The Megadeth is more responsive, and it just wants to go back to its shape a little bit more than the Mega Merc. That's kind of the big difference. You got anything to add to that?
Nope. I haven't ridden the Megadeth yet, so I really can't comment too much on that one.
I'm going to let you take this one from Jay Ellis. Define need a board every year. My shopaholic needs won't be met if I don't buy new gear yearly.
I mean, well, it depends. Some people do need a board every year, but like, I mean, if you're just getting into the sport, you don't need one every year. You should ride the first board you get into the ground. And then once you've progressed, once you're getting all your fundamentals and everything, then get a new one. But I mean, if you have the disposable income,
well,
why not get a new board every year?
More every year, and you've got disposable income. You ride that first board into the ground. You buy the replacement. It's going to be a beefier board, so you're not going to do it. Suddenly you start progressing more and you develop more skills. So now you're like, maybe I need a party board. Maybe I need a powder board, whatever. You buy that. Depending where you live, like, I mean, I could still ride my first year Cool Bean if I wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
It's clapped out, but I mean, that thing's now what, 8 years old, 10, something like that. 8.
That one is
7, 8, something like that.
That might be 9 years now.
Okay,
that's
so
9,
you look at that. So I don't have to ride that, or I look at like my Endeavor Archetype. I think I only rode it like 15, 20 days last year. So if you figure if it's made for 100 days, that's 5 years you can get out of that. Party board, if you're riding them like 20 days each, you should be able to get multiple seasons out of it. So rather than using your addiction to just replace what you have, you expand. It's kind of like owning multiple hammers. You've got your sledgehammer, your claw hammer, your ball peen hammer, your finishing hammer, your rock hammer, and then your jackhammer. Each one has its purpose, so that's kind of the way to look at it, I think. All right. We are definitely behind on questions, I realize. I knew I should have upped. I keep changing the amount of time that there's a delay that you can post more questions. It doesn't matter. We're just in the weeds from the get-go. But this one comes from RB. Going into my 3rd season, I'd like to get off-piste more, ride trees, open bolts, and bigger lines. I'm undecided between the Select Pros or the drive bindings and a passport or a ravine. You can't go wrong with either of those, in all honesty. Here's my take on that. Your 3rd season rider, I don't think you need to go to the drive bindings. I think that might be a little bit more than what you want. The Select Pros will still give you that performance, and either of those will match up on either board. You can't go wrong. If you're really trying to focus more on riding POW and trees, I think that's the ravine. The passport will be better at the bigger, wide open lines as well as on groomers. What do you think, TC?
Yeah, I mean, I think the pros are the way to go, where the drives are probably going to be overkill. But I would pretty much what you said, like where if you're going to just stick with trees, go with the ravine. But like the passport is pretty versatile. Like you can take it everywhere riding as long as you're really kind of paying attention. Since it's your 3rd year, you're going to want to definitely like stay lower, that sort of thing. But pretty much the drive's going to be a little overkill there. And then I think honestly, just to keep it so you can do this board anywhere, would probably go the passport over the ravine, where that's going to excel in the trees, but once you start getting to those higher speeds, when you get more comfortable with it, it's going to kind of lack compared to the passport, I would say.
Yeah, I totally agree with that assessment. Let's give this man a spin. Ooh, remember to subscribe. All right, we got this one from Clayton Link. Do you have a favorite wax? I don't wax. You got a favorite wax?
I go with the Jones, like all season, all purpose, like eco wax. That's pretty much what I'll put on with a little bit of like carbon in there with the little black wax if I have it. Otherwise, like, I'm only waxing when I go to Powder Tools because I can use their iron. Otherwise, I don't wax at home. I don't have time for that shit. The snow's not that wet here, and as long as you have good structure, you're fine.
Yeah, that's the big thing. It's all about the structure. What do we got for this man? Ooh, next question gets a spin. Well, let's find one. Got a bunch of super chats here. God, we are way out in the weeds. All right, let's see. All right. Okay, so we got this one from Elven View. So I just got the Signal Disruptor this year. What's your take on that board? Is it super aggressive from what people say? It's a more aggressive old school twin freestyle board. I mean, it's full camber. It's got that hard abrupt kick, and it's got a stiffer flex. If you've ridden camber and you know how it's supposed to ride, you're not going to have a problem. I've ridden more aggressive boards. If you've never ridden camber, well, welcome to the club, and I hope the learning curve does not kill you. But you do get a spin. And I know you haven't ridden this board.
No. But just from what I've seen and everything, I'm like, yeah, it's an old school camber board.
Yep.
Like a jump board.
Remember to buy stickers, people. Buy stickers. Okay. This is a fun one from our boy Dan. What is the best at Dank Donuts? So Dank Donuts is my friend Kara's donut shop in Big Bear. Everything. Support Kara. She is an amazing human. I love her donuts. When she worked in the snowboard industry, she used to bake us donuts and bring them to trade shows and feed us. And it was absolutely amazing. And she kept saying that she was going to open a donut shop, and no one believed her. And I just remember being like, I think you can do it. Go do it. And then she fucking opened it. And it's one of the reasons I want to go to Big Bear is just to go eat donuts from her, because her donuts were awesome.
They got a jelly-filled option in there?
Oh, I think she's expanded that menu like 3 times since she opened that place. So she like even expanded the location a little bit. So I haven't seen her in like probably 10 years. I shouldn't say that. I ran into her. Where the fuck was I? I ran into her so randomly one time. It might have been in LA. I can't remember, but yeah, Dank Donuts, like, just go to old school donuts in Big Bear. I mean, she was a local up there. She grew up there. She did it. So, all right. So we got this super chat from Waco PSA. Get your knees checked. Patella tendon snapped during climbing. Operation done. Recovery for season now. Hashtag arthroplasty. Hashtag getting back down was fun. Spin it. Oof. Full recovery.
Oh, God.
That's a rough one. Patella tendon snap. I stretched and tore mine, and that was bad. Oh, well, we got to pump the Powder Daze sale because that's what we landed on. So for anyone that doesn't know, Christy Sports is doing their annual Powder Daze sale through the weekend. I put a bunch of links down in the description of this video for everyone. They're blowing out like Ride C6s for like $129 or something obscene like that. And on their website, they have a wheel that you can spin, and you can get up to an additional 20% off of what they're selling, which some of their stuff is like somewhere between 20 and 60% off. So there are some screaming deals. Like TC pointed out that they had the Gooch Volcom 3L GoreTex for $300. Originally, I think it was like 600 plus. So,
yeah.
So there's some screaming deals in there. So yeah, you definitely want to check those out and click those affiliate links. We'll make some sales, or even just swing into their locations. They got stuff going on at Lakewood, Dillon, Steamboat. So if you're in Colorado, definitely check those out. But yeah, there's some good stuff in there. So, all right. We got our boy, Kevin Bees. Are you going to make TC test all the easy entry bindings this season? Spin for Slim. Well, I made him ride the Supermatics. What'd you think of those?
They're binding. I mean, it's a cool concept. Not the easiest thing to get in and out of. Definitely felt like a dead spot under my foot. But I mean, get the job done. I'd say it's well made. Like I didn't have any problems with that. It just took me a little bit because it felt counterintuitive to like push down and then pull my foot up instead of like pulling up and then pulling my foot up. And I like it had to take me a second to figure that out. But like I didn't have any pressure points or anything like that with the straps, so that was fine. It's not the most like responsive binding there is by far, but you do get some nice play side to side. It's honestly, if
it's got a big dead spot underfoot.
Yeah. But like the side to side on the straps and the high back, you still get some tweakability. But I mean, like for who it's made for, it's not a bad binding by any means.
No, it's a comfort. Like, it's a comfort binding with moderate. I shouldn't say minimal, moderate performance to it. Do I think it's better than a Flow? Yes. Do I think it's better than like the GNU SP bindings? Yes. Do I think it's better than Step-On? Yes. I think it has its benefits in there. I'm backing it. Like if I have to choose one of those options. But speaking of the good old easy entry bindings, there's still 2 sets of GNU out in the hallway that you have to test. Although Matty O was asking if we wanted to give them back because he wasn't sure if you were still done with them because he said you loved them.
I mean, I still got to ride them, so I'm not
you
opposed to riding the easy.
Try.
Yeah,
you love.
I don't know how many easy entries we need to do though. They know the customer base for that. You're about 45 years old. The
customer base really doesn't read reviews. They read the marketing and go, "That'll work."
Their friends sell them on and be like, "Dude, I got a pair of these. They're easy to get in and out of." And then you see them about 3 laps later, and they're like, "I can't get in and out of these. These are a pain in the ass." And you're like, "Okay, well, they're yours."
Ooh, well, this man always wins stickers. Always. He's won so many. Kevin, email me info@angrysnowboarder and give me that mailing address again. I'll drop that in the mail again. Seriously, I think half my mailing budget just goes to this man. All right. And we got a super chat from our boy Coffin again. Going to start teaching my 5/6-year-old son what kids binding has the most adjustability as he grows. Signal deck is so cheap, it makes more sense versus renting. Yeah. Well, those kids boards are crazy, like how cheap Signal is blowing them out. But you did the top 5s that we've got coming out for the kids bindings. Which one has the most adjustability? Is it the Union Cadet Junior Pro or?
I believe so. The Cadet Grom, I think, something like that. But yeah, the Cadet has a lot of adjustability. It goes up like 3 or 4 sizes, so you'll definitely keep it for a few years. And that's a really well-built binding that they can still ride as they progress too. Otherwise, Burton doesn't have terrible bindings, they'll say, for kids.
No, they don't. K2 kid bindings are pretty good.
K2 kid bindings are pretty good as well. Yeah, K2 has pretty much their shrunk down adult binding to their kids. And then Ride has a pretty decent kids binding as well, which I don't know what they're calling it now, but it's like, it's a small composite
binding. Don't they just have like an A and a C junior or whatever they're calling it?
Yeah, I think so.
Something. The big thing with kid bindings is like they hold their resale value if the kid grows. So check like Marketplace, Craigslist, whatever. Guarantee you can find something for super cheap in terms of bindings that are used that are like practically brand new.
Yeah.
So there's always that option too. Spin. Ooh, hot soup coming through. Okay, we got this one from Dylan Case. If you two were able to have a major impact on the snowboard community industry, what would you change? Big fan of over 3 years. Love it all, man. I think the big thing was, and I'm already starting to see this because I bitched for so long, width at the goddamn insert pack. Like, why are we putting waist width? You're not mounting your friggin' boot at the center of the board. That's ski bullshit. We mount it out closer to the tip and the tail. Put the width at the insert. Even if it's just the reference stance, it makes far more sense. Like, If I will die on this goddamn hill, along with the hill that boot fitting should be better. Stock insoles are ass. They could put out a better insole for everyone, or at least explain people why they need to upgrade them. Those would be my two biggest impacts, I think. That, and we need to get rid of all these snowboard wannabe influencers, which actually someone coined the phrase to me last week, toxic snowboard culture. And I was like, oh, where are you going with this? Are you about to call me toxic? And he's like, people that just take everything they can from snowboarding while promoting the shittier brands because no one of real substance will promote them. And I was like, this makes sense. Toxic snowboard culture, toxic positivity, toxic. Anyone can do what I do. I'm okay. My balls haven't dropped. Look at me here. Here's a set of shitty fucking Kuno goggles or Powster or whatever the fuck it is. Look at me. I'm doing fucking performative philanthropy. Like, those would be the three things that I want to get rid of. Your turn, TC. Take it away.
I mean, the first thing I thought was change the format of competition snowboarding. Make everybody compete in every event, but then also change the events where, like, this event is just rails here. Like, this part of the tour, you're just going to this place for the weekend, head-to-head competition, and you just do it that way. Next place, everybody's riding, like, half pipe. Like, you're going to see Jesse Paul in the half pipe, and he's probably going to take dead last. But, he's going to crush it in the rail section and win that one. So, I don't know. I would like to see something like that where it kind of makes an even playing field for everybody, makes it a little bit more, becomes almost a better rider instead of you guys having, or like us having to watch the same run over and over again at each different stop. You're like, okay, I'm going to watch Scotty James just do the exact same run every time until he learns a new trick, and then that's in there instead. I would say something like that. What else would be a good one that needs to change? I don't know, almost more youth programs, because a lot of it I feel like is focused more like in ski towns and everything. When I lived in Steamboat, all the kids that could afford it were in there. But if it was more like Pee Wee football or something like that, you pay $30, your kid goes and does that like 2 nights a week. I think that would definitely help a lot of grow the community for the better, almost, like, instead of Xing out everybody that can't afford it. Like, you know how much helmets are for football? Those things are not cheap each. Like, my sister runs Park and Rec, and it's like, if we could just do that, where it's like, here's your snowboard for the 4 months, go and ride, come back with it. Like, that'll get kids excited on it at least, and kind of have them push towards it more. I would say kind of grow the community for the kids, and they get to see what it's about. And then that mixed in with changing the format for snowboarding, it's like it gets them doing everything instead of just being like, I got to go be a park jock to make a living in this sport. And it's like, no, you don't. So those are what I would change.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot that could change. I don't.
There is.
Those are just my big 3 gripes. Like, if I had to leave my mark on it, they'd be like, we didn't used to measure the snowboards at the inserts, but Avron from Angry Snowboarder crusaded. And now we know that a size 10 will fit on this board totally fine. I'd be happy with that. But I don't know. I feel like every year, more and more of my legacy, if you can call it that, gets left in snowboarding because I see different things happening. I mean, there's a local rep sales manager that is literally blaming me for losing 20% of his brand's sales. I mean, it's a local brand to Colorado, so I'll let you guys figure that one out. But he likes to blame me for everything, and I'm over here going, what the fuck did I do? I just told people they're shit because they are. So obviously I'm doing something right. All right. And remember, don't eat yellow snow. All right. Okay. We got another super chat from our boy Letters. Bunkhouse selling clue is like a kid fucking a doorknob. That's a factual statement. So that is a very factual statement. Okay.
Small sticker pack for you too.
Oh, wow. The degenerate won that small sticker pack. Of course he did. You know how many sticker packs that guy only wins the smalls though. Like, and I always send it to him. It's like he sent me a sticker pack once about the Operation Beaver Drop or whatever it was up in Idaho, where they would parachute beavers into the wilderness in the 60s or 70s so that they would make dams. They were
This
throwing
sounds
on
awesome.
the back of a cargo plane. There's a video of it on YouTube. It's like a whole thing.
All right, I'm gonna watch this after. I gotta make a
It's-
note of that. That sounds awesome, actually.
It's fucking hilarious. It's so hilarious.
So do the beavers just walk around with a parachute stuck to them because they don't know how to take it off?
No. So they're in a crate, a wooden crate, and then they throw them out. The parachute opens and it sets them down. Then they chew through the crate and then they take off to find running water and dam it up.
I like my idea
it was
better.
a legitimate government program. It's hilarious, and there's there's a documentary on it.
I was thinking they just like line them up and be like, all right, at the green light, we're going to push the first one out and the rope will take the rest of them out and we'll just kind of parachute them in like we're dropping people like along Normandy and shit. I'm like, that would be hilarious. You just see a herd of just. Like,
well, the first time I heard about it, I was like, wait, they built a catapult to just like launch them? And I was like, so, yeah. So, anyways, there's that. And then, of course, Letters is the next super chat. Listen to Slim, damn it. No one should listen to Slim. He's the worst. He's the worst. Spin again. Hot soup coming through. We got our boy, Pat Zaransky. Deciding which leather jacket to wear to opening day. Well, if you do, you got to wear your Shaun White t-shirt underneath it, you know, because Shaun White in a leather jacket would destroy you.
I'd say if you got Michael Jackson's leather one, probably wear that so the kook can see you coming down the mountain.
Which one? We talking Thriller, Beat It? Thriller. Okay. The red one. The red one.
Yeah. The red one with the shoulder pads.
Yeah.
Just in case you need your body armor.
I can agree with that. I can get down with that one.
That's the type of body armor you need to buy. All right.
We got to spin again on that one.
Okay.
Spin again. Jesus. That's a trifecta on there. That's right. Spray them all in your leather jacket. All right. Let's see. Okay. Okay, let's see. Ooh, we'll take this one from Tibby TT. Favorite robot food film? Just watched After Lame again. Can't believe it's about 20 years old and I still gets me started. Dude, Lame, After Lame, and After Bang changed snowboard movies. Still a big fan of Lame, and you can find it free either on YouTube or Vimeo. So if anyone is looking for it, which if you guys like classic movies, you should check out the cultural mystery link of the week in the description of this one because there's a solid option for you guys as well. So
I'm After Bang on that one. You can find that one on YouTube, but it's in that super small, shitty format where you're like, I think that was a 7, but I can't really.
4x3, downsized, 480p.
Oh, it's probably like 60, 80p maybe. It's made up. It's really shitty. It's like watching on Tamagotchi.
Oof. Okay, so we're going to take this one from Andrew Lewis, and it's for you. Noticed on my new Kazoo that the reference stance is set forward on inserts, both front and back foot at second hole from top. Is this just centering the reference stance with the effective edge offsetting the setback? So basically, because, you know, it's a setback board, but the reference stance, so it should center it up.
Yeah, it should. I actually didn't even notice that when I wrote it. I just had it 21.5 apart and didn't even pay attention. But yeah, I would imagine that's what it's there for.
I think that's what it's for, to give you a more freestyle feel.
Well, yeah, because the camber profile is like a resort twin is what they consider it. So that's probably just setting it up with that true twin. You want to take Morrill Mountain, set it up so they normally the general reference stance, and that'll give you that more setback feel to it than big or all mountain riding, I would say.
Yeah. Okay. And then we got our boy Josiah Bartle. The deep fake and hyper fall into the same general category of board, right? Both have my eye, but keep crushing on the hyper. They kind of sit in the same category. The difference is going to be like the deep fake is definitely more all mountain freeride versatile versus the hyper. It's stiffer. It's got a different edge hold. It's designed to stay locked in on edge. The hyper has more give to it. It's a softer, more forgiving, flexing board in there. And I honestly think the deep fake is actually more damp than the hyper. The hyper tends to get a little wily when you get into chopped out terrain. It just flexes so much. So if you're crushing on it, just fucking go buy it, dude. Don't even sweat it. All right. And we got a super chat from Brian P. Since Angry Snow Corp is a big snowboard company with employees, where do I send my totally average riding helmet cam footy? I'd accept the sponsorship. Oh, clearly you got to go to Snowboard Pro House Archive. Wait, sorry, take that back. It's the good Snowboard Pro House Archive rated.com. Got to get all the shitty ones in there at once. Get them all there. They'll totally hook you up.
And make sure that that's unedited, just raw files.
Oh yeah, like I mean, and shot in a weird format too. So it's got to be like instead of 4:3, you got to shoot it at like 12:9, but it's got to be in 6K, unedited. The microphone has to be just and the white balance turned all the way up. Just fucking blow our eyeballs out with the volume cranked all the way as well. So, and remember to buy some stickers. Okay, we got this one from Stress Type 4. What adds most to the responsiveness of a binding? High back, base plate, or straps? If I swap the high backs of a Cartel X and a softer Malavita and use the same straps, which one would be more responsive? Well, the Cartel X is going to be more responsive than anything from the Malavita across the board. So, the big thing is it's a combination of the binding flex, the binding materials, the straps, the strap material, the mounting, how big the disc is on there, whether it's EST or if you got a mini disc or a full-size disc. And then the high back is you really only notice the high back truthfully being responsive when you got the forward lean cranked and you're on the heel edge. Like, what do you think, TC?
I mean, if you swap the high backs on it, your Cartel X is still going to be stiffer. Because it also, like you said, the materials, it does have a stiffer chassis material to it, stiffer nylon in there, where, like you said, you're pretty much only going to feel the softness of the high back when you're like laying down a carve like that, or when you're like tweaking out something like in the air pretty much. Otherwise, like your Cartel's still going to be stiffer than the Malavita is. Like,
it's also going to be less likely to crack the top sheet of your board.
True.
Yeah. Malavita.
You'll still dent it though. You'll still dent it.
Yeah.
Just the way they put the side. They got to fix that. But what do I know?
All right. We got Liam Lewis Jones, 2024 Union Force Classic for 250 pounds, 2024 Union Strata for 240 pounds, or 23 Atlas for 210 pounds. Which would you recommend as a comfortable but responsive binding for all mountain riding for a 90 kilogram, 200 pounds rider? Comfort is going to be super subjective in there, but I fucking hate the Force Classic. Like, fuck that binding. Just fuck the Force Classic. New Force is so much better. But if you have to choose out of those two, like the Strata has more lateral play. The Atlas is going to be better for lateral drive and power. So ask yourself, do you want it to be a little more forgiving or a little more precise? Like, I don't know. You used to ride the Force Classic.
I did. Yeah. I mean, still, like, based on what you said there, out of comfortability, response, and just like all mountain riding, I would probably go Atlas first. Then, I mean, I'd go with the Force Classic. But, like, I mean, by last year's, and you got the same thing as this year's with the Force Classic. And then the Strata, I mean, the Strata is going to be really soft side to side with that play from like tip to tail. But you do get a little bit of response with that stiffer high back on it. But I mean, I don't think you can go wrong with last year's, especially since it's cheaper than both of this year's options, and it's still going to be a better binding for that all mountain rider. So I mean, I go with the Atlas. Like, I don't even think it's like up for debate really in that sense.
Yeah, I think that's kind of where you want to be ideally, especially at 200 pounds. All right. We're going to take this next one from Wyatt. Is the K2 Lean AT too stiff for the K2 Passport? No, if anything, it might be too soft. It's just going to have a lot of play in it. I think you're fine with it though overall. So
put those the bigger bushings in the bottom.
Yeah.
To cut down on that side to side play, I would say, honestly.
Yep. All right. And we got My Knees Are Cheese. Looking good, boys. Besides a beveling, are there any other ways to tune edges for better rail riding without sacrificing carving grip? Maybe round out the middle and keep contact points sharp. Hashtag pocket bacon. You can do that. I don't know. I fucking ride rails with sharp edges. I just like, well, if I'm going to hit it, I'm going to hit it. Once you hook your edge into a rail and eat shit, you're like, I'm never doing that again. So.
Yeah, I mean, I see a lot of people be like, oh, should I keep the contact points sharp? And then, like you said, bevel the inside. And honestly, I think it's the opposite. I'd rather have the middle sharp and my contact points like dull, just so it doesn't get super hooky. But as long as you keep them sharp and you keep that steel smooth, like when you get caught up most of the time, it's like a burr or something that'll actually catch the rail and cause you to fall or something. So as long as you take away all the burrs, and like I sharpen my edges. When I worked at Powder Tools, I sharpened them more than a lot of people, like once a week probably, and would still go in like board slide rails. So like, as long as you don't have a bunch of burrs like catching the rail, you're going to be fine with sharp edges. Like, unless you're only going to like the streets and you don't care about holding an edge, I would say don't detune your board that hardcore.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, so when I lived on the East Coast, what we used to do is 1.5 degree base bevel, but we didn't do the side bevel to match it. So the edge would be offset different. So you'd get that roll and then it would hit. Everyone thought we were insane, but at the same time, we were the guys that could still lay a Euro carve through the base area of the resort. So like we would come down and we'd come through the park and we'd hit all the rails and then we'd be cutting back. This is at Holiday Valley. So if you've ever been there, the base area, it's like, you have Cindy's Run and you have Mardi Gras. So we would come down, and what I would do is I would Euro carve around the chairlift for Mardi Gras and try to see if I could do a full loop. And like I could actually get most of the time a full loop from it because my edges were still so sharp on that boilerplate. So, you know, that does definitely help. Now I don't even care anymore. I'm just like, oh, another board, another wrapper, rip it out and go ride, hit a rail. But we are going to shamelessly plug one of our sponsors right now. So enjoy.
Okay, guys, time for a product endorsement that we're actually paid for, which is a rarity around here because no one else wants to pay us for anything, contrary to popular belief. But we have no problem taking the money from CB Daze. Why? Because we believe in their product. It helps us. I have a lot of ailments. I have arthritis. I have missing cartilage in my body. I probably shouldn't even be able to walk, let alone talk to you between the brain damage and the body damage. But here I am, promoting a product that I fully believe in, and that is the OG Muscle Gel. CB Daze has been awesome. I have been using this for 2+ years. This is what helps me get through a really long season, and I ride typically 130 to 160 days a year. This changes everything. But you know what? I'm not the only one that's endorsing it. We got professional athletes, we got influencers, which those people really don't matter, and my mom. My mom fully endorses this. Are you at the shopping cart page on CB Daze website? You getting ready to check out? Why don't you use code ANGRY20? Save yourself 20% on this and get yourself a really good deal. You know you want to. Trust me. Just trust me.
All right. Well, thank you to our sponsor of this video, CB Daze. I had to use a bunch of it today because, you know, I'm in really rough shape. So that's where I'm at. Tweaked my back today. It was fun. I love tweaking my back. I'm old. I'm a dinosaur. But we do have this super chat from S2000 guys. Super hyped for the ASIM Astros. Thanks for the help. Yeah, Battalion's been blowing out their what's left of their bindings on their website. I think they're doing like an additional 20% off this weekend for Labor Day. So if you're looking for it for a deal on some Battalion bindings, definitely check that out. Yeah, support your local shop too. Support your local shop. So, you know, it's Labor Day weekend. I've seen a lot of shops that I followed. They're having their sales. So why don't you go out if you're looking for stuff, see what they've got. Definitely check that out. Yeah, let's see. Okay, we got Levi Lieb. Have you gotten a chance to review the Cardiff lineup? I'm thinking about picking up a Pagoda for a deep day pow board. No, when I tried to reach out to him, it was like fucking pulling teeth. So I just said no. All right, and we'll take this one from Andrew Lewis. Anybody ever fucked with those aftermarket intuition liners? Oh, I have. Oh, I have cooked a lot of those for my feet problems. You got to understand the best way to cook them is in a convection oven. You need to have someone that knows how to work fast and how to work with them, because if you don't, you are not going to mold them right. Have you ever worked on an aftermarket? That's what I figured. Most people haven't.
No.
Like, they are not fun. I do not recommend it. I actually had to put a set of burrito wrap liners, the stiffer ones, into an old set of Vans Fargos to get them to work. And like, even then the cuff came above the, like, that thing was so ridiculous. When I put it on, it stuck out like this much above the top of the boot. It was gnarly. Yeah. Okay. We got a super chat here from Joe X. Hit the button, people. TC, what kind of carbon wax is a good brand? My local shop doesn't have any more to hook me up with. It's Ice Nation out here in New Hampshire. Thank you.
We just use the pearl stuff.
Yeah.
It's not the best stuff out there, but it's not terrible for the environment, where it is like more plant-based, but it is pretty cheap for a bar of it compared to like everything else. Cause I mean, you can go get those like tiny bars that are like maybe the size of like a silver dollar, and those are like $100, or you can get one of those big ass bars of pearl and it'll do the same thing. I mean, that carbon comes off so fast when you're actually snowboarding, it just peels right off your board. So I go with like the pearl stuff because it's cheap and you can buy like it by the brick on their website.
Yeah. When I lived on the East, like, yeah, you get the brick of the pearl and then you mix it with the cold temp wax just because it's so icy. So it's a little thicker on there, and you'll be solid. Either that or just squirt some dish soap on your base. Get a trail of bubbles following you down the hill. Spin again. Well, Joe, you won yourself another small sticker pack. Make sure you email me info@angrysnowboarder.com, and I'll get that in the mail to you. We got another super chat here from Slushy Shredder. Letters is definitely a degenerate. Spin it for him. It's great. You're buying each other spins. I love it. It's a community in here. Don't eat the yellow snow. You never know where it's been. Okay. Let's see. We got Chad Fertney. Okay, it's pick a board question. I'm looking at the K2 Passport 159, the Ride Berserker 160 wide. The one caveat is I can pick a new 2023 Berserker for $240 less than this year's model. Ride A6 bindings going to keep up. A6 is a little underperforming for the Berserker, but for $240, I say go for it. I think you'll be solid. The other thing is, if you're looking at, like, you want to go to a stiffer ride binding, Christie's is blowing theirs out at 35% off on their website. So if you go to the Christy Sports website, I've got an affiliate link down below, and you even get a chance to, if you're a new member or a new customer, you get a chance to spin the wheel. You could get an additional 20% off. If you hit that, you could get 55% off of like an A9 for that board and be fine. Now, if you're on a budget and you want to make those A6s work, they will work. Just keep them on the stiffer setting on the straps, because those are the ones with the flip straps, right?
That's the 8.
It's the 8. You're right.
Yeah, they do have a stiffer strap though. Like, I know Curtis from Powder Tools, he took his 6 strap off and put it on his 10s to make it stiffer. So they're like, the strap is stiff, but the rest of it is, it's gonna be, But I mean, like, I rode the 23 Berserker. Or no, that was the 22. But I rode that for a while and really liked it with my C9s on it. So if you can make it work in the budget, if that board's less than 240, I would say try to hit up a sale and get something a little stiffer, and then keep those A6s on something else or on your previous board.
There you go. Well, yeah, 240 for a Berserker, that's a no-brainer. Like, there's no reason to bump up to the new one. You do lose a turn, though, sir. You won some advice.
Yeah.
But you lost that. All right. Okay. We got this one from Waco. Do the new Jones/Now Bindings have the quick release on the toe strap? Is there a reason why they don't have it? Cost or functional? They do have a quick release. It's just they don't have the tab for you to grab so you have to grab the front of the actual buckle and it'll release. It doesn't have the one finger quick tab. That's it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, none of them have it now that I think about it. So, all right.
But I think that's more functional, honestly, than a cost thing for them.
Yeah.
It just fits with the ratchet better. And it's easier with your mitten on. You could just hit it with the side of your hand and it pops right off.
All right. Then we got Joey Rax. Found a great deal on a 162 excavator of 195 pounds. Send it or spend a little extra coin on the 58. I mean, if you're on a budget, fuck it. You can get away with that 62. It's just going to be like driving a Cadillac when you're on a groomer. In POW, you're going to have a little more problems in tight trees just with that tail being a little longer. But other than that, that board, like, you only medium downsize on that, like maybe 4 centimeters. At 200 pounds, you would have been on what, a 166 to a 162. You're fine. You got this. All right. Let's see. All right. We got this super chat from Stress Type 4. With your feet in the air and your head on the ground, try this trick and spin it. You just want to look at my feet, don't you? Got loser on that one. Oof. Is it true you have a jug of coffee?
No, this is water. No, I already had my double Americano today.
Okay.
So no, I thought about it. I was like, that's a lot of coffee, though.
All right. Well, Maxine wants us to spin for catapulted beavers. Flying beavers in Idaho, man. Spin again. Let's see.
Spin it again.
I know. It's just like all the time. We're just over here spinning for more beavers. Beaver spins everywhere. Ooh, person 4 up gets a spin. So we got 1, 2, 3. Well, that goes to your boy Ty King. Piotr Kotam. Eat your pocket bacon. I need some bacon in my life right now. All right. So we got this one from Kaminalau Alan. Can you compare the Free Carver 6 to the 9? You only rode the 9. We didn't have a 6. So 6 is just a different side cut. That's all. It's a deeper side cut.
Different side cut, and it has a biax glass instead of a triax on it. So it's a little softer. A little bit more of like a 6,000, so it's got a 6 meter side cut, meaning it's super tight. So it's going to want to turn really fast, but it's not going to be like those super drawn out turns like the 9,000 will be, where you can like literally go like 100 miles an hour and still hold that edge really well and have those really long drawn out ones. The 6,000 is going to be more of like that quick edge to edge, like snappier turns, I would say.
All right. We got this one from Jason Evangelista. I thought the house closed shop. I see a bunch of snowboards up on their site for sale. Who the fuck knows what's going on over there? They're in a lawsuit. People are buying the company. They're not out of business. They're out of business. That shit is a goddamn raging dumpster fire with someone pissing gasoline on it right now. Okay. This one's from our boy Kevin Bees. I'm really stuck on what board to get for the wife. Looking to get her a bit of a charger and introduce her to camber. What would you pick between the Cold Shoulder, Passport, Mercury, and Berserker? Honestly, You don't need a Mercury. You don't need a Berserker. Instead of the Mercury, you could put her on an Equalizer. Instead of the Berserker, what is that one that it's from Ride? It's not the Saturday. What the hell is it?
No, it's the shit. Now I'm drawing a blank on it.
Magic Stick?
Yep, that's the one.
That's it. It's the Magic
Yep.
Stick. Passport's unisex, so it's fine. Cold shoulder, can't go wrong. Honestly, out of those, though, I'd probably just put her on the cold shoulder and just go from there, and I think you'll be totally solid. So put Hannah on that, slap her on the ass, and tell her to go that way, and if something gets in her way, turn.
Mm-hmm.
That's my advice. So I met his wife. So, next question's for TC. Let's find you one. Let's see what we got here. Trying to find a good one. All right, I'm going to let you take this one. Loved your Lib Dynamo review last year. I'm 5'11", 200 pounds, size 12 Burton iron boot. Planning to hit Mount Baker, Stevens, and Whistler this year. Debating between the 156 wide or the 59 wide. Am I splitting hairs? Thoughts? What do you say, TC? That's that heavy. That's that heavy snow. And he's 200 pounds. I'm thinking.
I'm going 59 wide.
Yeah.
I'm going 59 wide for sure.
Yeah. I mean,
'Cause-
that's just.
Yeah.
That's the better one to go. That's a very, very easy one.
Anytime you're going to Baker, just size up like
Size
a shit
up.
ton. Like,
Yeah. The last time I went to Baker, I think I was riding like a 164 wide.
yeah. Did you ever meet Connor in the shop at P Tools?
Maybe?
He was only there for like a year, but he was built like me, and he was riding like a 63 wide like LibTech because he's like, dude, you just have to at Baker. So definitely go up in your size. You'll still be fine to ride it anywhere else, but it's definitely gonna float better.
All right. Take this one from Enrique Salas. Gentlemen, I picked up a 2021 Battalion Goliath this summer. Not sure if I should use my Burton Cartels or Union Falcors, which have a mini disc. Either. You're good on either with that one. So, all right. So then we got Jorge Morales. Herniated a disc in April and have been doing PT since. Any ideas for how I can ease into things this season without aggravating my back? You need to avoid choppy, chundery, uneven terrain. You are a blue groomer. That is what you are going to do. You need, if you haven't swapped out the insoles in your boots to something with more dampening, I'd strongly recommend that. A better insole with dampening. You're probably going to need to look at your bindings and ask yourself, are these damp enough or are they not damp enough? Then stick up on top of, if you don't replace those, stick up with your PT and stay on top of that, doing back exercises. Strengthen that back, strengthen your core, strengthen your quads, strengthen your glutes, everything in there, and do that. And then if you're still having some back pain, you might want to use code ANGRY20. Get yourself some CB days right there. The shit, like seriously, I tweaked my back today because I decided that I wanted to throw a 45-pound plate weight over my head, and I pulled something in my back. I rubbed it on. I'm feeling fine. It's just tight, but I don't have any pain. That shit is goddamn miracle juice. So, that's my take on that one. Okay, let's see. We got this super chat from Jared Bryce. Thanks for all the advice, gents. Spray them all. Let's see if we can land on spray them all. You guys are getting a new game in like a week or two, too. So, Powder Daze. It's the Powder Daze sale at Christie's. So if you're buying online, you want to support us, check out the Christy Sports affiliate. We've got links. Like, there's some good stuff. There's boards, bindings, outerwear in there. Their outerwear deals are crazy right now. I was looking at like puffy jackets, and they were blowing stuff out for like 130. And I was like, damn, for a puffy jacket, that's pretty solid. All right.
They might still have some of their Jones puffies on there, and that's my favorite puffy I've ever had.
Yeah.
So
all right. We got this one for you from Listen Closely. Now Kingpin system, does it really make a difference in your riding or overhyped?
I feel like it does. Like, I definitely feel like when you are laying into a super hard carve, you can actually drive into it. Especially depending on which bushings you have in there, you can feel it. If you got the softer ones and you go to stand into it or like really press into it, you definitely feel it kind of give a little bit more than like say on like your Jones Mercury where you have the hard ones on there. It's definitely gonna not feel it quite as much, but when you have the softer ones, you can definitely feel yourself driving from your heel to your toe on it. What do you think? Can you feel it?
Yes, and I felt it from generation 1, and now they've got so there was the H1, the H2, and the H3 heel cups in there, and each one has changed the spacing on where the bushings actually sit. You can feel the difference in there. I love the way that they ride from that power from toe to heel. What I don't like is I like a lot of lateral play in my binding, and that is where you sacrifice with them. And it is to the point that I notice it that I'm like, I'm not happy with that. But when I'm going toe to heel, because when that toe comes down, it pulls the whole heel up with it. You get more power. The first time I ever did a backside 180 off my toes, I could just feel that power. I must have popped like 5 feet off my toe with no force whatsoever and was just like, holy shit, that is absurd. Like how much power you actually get with that. All right. And we got this one from Angel Garcia. Hey, Angry. I have a Yes Hybrid, K2 Party Platter, and a Roam Agent. What am I missing in my quiver? I lean towards freestyle riding. Thank you in advance. You're good. You're covered. Like, I honestly wouldn't worry about it. Party Platter can be your powder twin. It can be your party board. Roam Agent can kind of do it all. And then you got the hybrid for when you want to go ride trees and it's still freestyle focused. Save your money. Snowboard more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the only thing is you need a carving board, but if you're not really interested in something like that, then you're fine, dude. Like, just go out there and rip.
Yep. All right. So we got this one from Jay Ellis. Pocket bacon. You're making me hungry. I want some bacon. Spin again. That's all I do is spin. I cannot wait for this fucking Plinko board to show up. Join Angry Snowboarder VIP if you haven't. Ooh, yeah, here's a good one from Bruce Taylor. Any new swallowtails for this year? This right here, the Borealis Leviathan. Look at that. Look at that swallowtail. This board is phenomenal. Solid structure on the base. It's got this crazy flex point right inside the back insert pack. This board was amazing. And we did film a top 5 swallowtails for this year. So you guys are going to get that. You will be getting new top 5s every week. I think TC and I, what did we film? Like 28 of them or something ridiculous. Like you might even start getting 2 of them closer to Black Friday for a while. But we filmed a lot of top 5s. So they're going to be coming out for everyone. All right. Let's see. Okay. Got a super chat from Kevin Gorchinski. Thanks for the board advice for the 43-year-old athletic dude working on the lifts at Palisades. 24 Black Snowboard to Death and Atlas Pros delivered yesterday. Stoked to step off my old timeless Stay Angry spray skiers. You are coming into a new world with that board and binding combo. Like, dude, you are going to be so happy. First off, thank you for maintaining our lifts and making it so that we have flying couches to ride to the top. So we really appreciate that. But coming from an old timeless to that is going to be a night and day difference. You are going to thoroughly enjoy that. So go out and just jump off everything when the conditions arrive and lay trenches, sir, and spray skiers. Always spray skiers. And don't eat yellow snow. Don't eat yellow snow. So, all right. We got this one from Joe Jaskoviak. Do you prefer a tapered board or a directional twin for carving? Depends on the day. It really does. Depends on the board. I've ridden both, and each one. I've had good days on both. I've had bad days on both. I mean, do you have a preference?
For carving wise, most of the time a taper, but I mean some directional twins like carve great. Like my Team Manifest, that thing was so much fun to carve. Yeah. Like But it really depends. Like, I would say 9 times out of 10, if I'm just going carving, yeah, I probably want some taper on the board. But like, there are directional twins that carve extremely well, so it's all personal preference, I would say.
Yeah, all right. And it looks like we got a follow-up question about ride boots from Thomas Acosta. So regarding ride boots, I'm coming from the last. So would a Ride 92 be much of a difference? I'm on a Mercury with katanas and looking for something to do it all, but definitely not too much park. I'm not too familiar with the 92, but isn't that supposed to be like a medium flex boot?
Yeah, so the 92, it's going to have a urethane toe on it. It's going to have like that Michelin sole on the bottom. Kind of like I would say almost an upgraded park boot is what I would say.
Isn't it basically like the old Fuse from like 3 years ago?
With a boa, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty much.
Okay.
So, I mean, if you're looking to kind of step it up, I would say look at like a Lasso Pro. Like that would be a good choice for you if your ankles line up in that, because I remember last year at least there were some problems with people. It felt great, but the inside ankle didn't line up too well. But I would say they're kind of similar. I would definitely recommend to try them both on just to see what you're feeling for the difference, because it is definitely subjective.
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole thing with boots. It's like you got to try them on, figure out what works for you. Like every year I'm like, I should get a soft boot. And then I'm reminded when I try one on, I'm like, oh my God, there is no support for my ankle in this. I'm going to drive right through this boot. So anyways, but I see we're starting to slow down on the questions. So if you got them, let's get them in. We're going to wind this down. But right now, let's close out this poll and see where we ended up for today. So do you like snowboard memes? 57. We had 242 votes. 57 said yes. 21% said only yours. 12% asked what is a meme, and 8% just hate life and said no. Sad people out there. Sad people. So, Ugh. And this is just a funny statement from Josiah. Damn, I should ride more. You should ride more. Haven't you learned anything from us? All we do is try to encourage you guys to go ride more.
Use those sick days. They're there for a reason.
Use them.
Use them.
No one said on their deathbed, if only I had worked more instead of skipping out to go ride more POW. Nobody said that. Trust me. You know what I said to my guidance counselor when I was 16? And he's like, we need to start thinking about your future and what you're going to do. I was like, I'm going to go snowboarding. Then I turned 17. And then it was my senior year. And I looked at him and he's like, so you got plans for everything? And I was like, fuck no, I'm going snowboarding. My dad, what are you doing with your life? I don't know. Going snowboarding. Get out of my house. Okay, fine. I'm going to go live with my grandmother. What did I do? I just went snowboarding. Then I ruptured my spleen. And I had to recover from that. And then I just went snowboarding some more after that. Everything I've done has just been like, go snowboarding. I have no regrets on how many days I've spent snowboarding at this point in my life, because it's gotten me to a point where we have the ability to hire people with this business, to tell people how awesome it is to just go snowboarding. Go snowboarding. I mean, TC had to make the sacrifice of living in Lakewood last year.
Yeah.
We're making up for that this year, aren't we?
I'm going to have to. And I'm praying for snow like no one's business. I don't pray, but I'm praying for snow on this, because I missed out on every powder day last year, I feel like, except for maybe 2. So.
Yeah, you got some of the spring late ones up at the base, or up at Copper with me. And which sucks to move from Steamboat, and then they have that record year right when you move.
Yeah, but I mean, every time like somebody that's been there a while leaves, it always dumps. Like that's what happened with Ammo. He left, and then it just started just nuking snow that year, and it was one of my best years that I've had while I lived there. So
that's exactly it. All right, so we got this one from DeBarros. Best in-tree POW board that can carve. I mean, for super tight trees, I like the Rosnell Sashimi, because when you hit a groomer, you can rip a turn with it. Mm-hmm. That one's one of my favorites for sure. But that Karua pencil isn't bad either. What do you have?
Mine expander with the camber in it. If you want to go extra stuff for like more carving side, I'd probably go the Ultra Mind expander on that one. Otherwise, like a Super Pig would be great too.
Yeah,
that's gonna give you the camber. It's gonna give you their carbon 5 in it. So the tip and tail aren't going to like vibrate to all like hell when you do get it at high speeds carving. So that would be another great option, I'd say.
For sure. All right, so we got this one from Jared Bryce. What are your preferred aftermarket insoles for boots? Remind. Like that's. Are you still using those Reminds I got you?
I haven't even tried them yet.
Oh, that's right. I got those so late for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah,
I've been
using Reminds. I think I've got an affiliate link somewhere in there. I think. I don't know. Okay. David F. Any thoughts on the Burton 87 Elite reissue, retro party board, or pointless turd? Cash grab. Nostalgic cash grab from Burton because they're just making more mediocre product that no one really wants to buy. So they'll tell you how rare it is, and then it doesn't fucking sell out. And you're going to see it for sale for 50% off like 3 months later. So yeah. All right. We got Levi Lieb. What POW board would you recommend for a Japan trip? Currently looking at an Endeavor Archetype, Tellus Backslash, and a Karua Pintonic, open to other options. Out of those three, the Pintonic is probably going to be the best one for that deep POW, especially if you get into some flat. But realistically, you should probably be looking at a Battalion Surfer, that swallowtail, like in the 3BT shaping. You got anything you'd recommend?
I mean, that Surfer would be so sick out there. Otherwise, let me think here really quick. What's gonna handle a deep POW? I mean, depends if you want to go volume shift, non-volume shift. As I'd say, possibly a Mountain Pig would do it with that split tail.
Yeah,
that would help. Otherwise, like a Storm Wolf.
Ooh, Storm Wolf's a good one.
Yeah,
I mean, that Leviathan from Borealis for a swallowtail. Yeah, I wouldn't go wrong with that.
Or a new Solomon Talk as well, depending on what kind of power you're riding.
Or even the 6-stick from Solomon.
I do love that board. Is really fun.
You know, the Archetype is great, but like if I was going to Japan, like I have a 58 wide, I would bump up to the biggest size they make, which I think was like a 62 or something. And I don't even know if that would be, another good option. Amplid Morning Glory comes in a 160, nice and wide, great shape to it as well. So you've got options. Like anyone that says they're limited on options these days, like I saw someone left a comment, like, I'm just limited on options. And I was like, where the fuck you looking, dude? Like, what? You got more options than you've ever had in your lifetime. So, yeah. Okay. We got this one from Ali Zacharone. Is there a way to tell the insert width from the waist width of a board? Hard to buy boards for family when I don't know what size boot will fit the board. Take the tip width, so the nose and the tail width, and because they might be separate depending on if you're looking at a taper, but let's just say they're the same. We're looking at a true twin. Take the tip width, subtract the waist width from it. Take that number, divide it by 2, add it back to the waist width number, and roughly, not accounting for side cut, traction bumps, any of that bullshit, that's about what it's going to be at the width, and that'll give you an idea of where you need to be with it. All right. And then we got this question from Lazy Guess. Is it possible that size women's 9 ride boots would fit in a medium 6.5 to 8.5 unions better than a large 9 to 11? Heel cup is all the way in, and I have 2 holes left to adjust straps down with 1 centimeter room on the sides. Thanks. Yeah, I would definitely not go to the large in the unions because those are fucking huge. Even for the women's, like it sounds like you've got a ride boot, so that's already kind of a narrow profile. So I'd say you're probably better off with that medium. Like if you were in a 32, I'd be like, yeah, you need to go to the women's large. But for that ride boot in a women's medium, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean it depends on which ride or which unions you got as well, depending on the size of the footbed. And the base tray, that sort of thing. But for the most part, I'd still probably go with the medium just because that ride footprint is so tiny compared to everything else that, like, even on my ride bindings with my ride boots, I still have to put them to a size smaller than than it actually tells me to, just to get it like perfectly aligned heel toe on my board. So like I would probably say go medium all day, and you might even have to bring that heel cup in one, because I had to do that with my mediums, and I was supposed to max them out with my size 10s. So you might be on the last setting for the medium, but it's definitely going to give you that more snug fit to it.
Yeah. All right. We got another super chat from Kevin Gorchinski. Love you guys. Reaction to me still riding a timeless, laughing my ass off. Disclaimer: I bought a Never Summer All Mountain of some sorts a few years back. It sucks so much you didn't even know what model you bought. I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. Hot soup coming through. All right. We got Andrew Hulton. Avon and TC, I'm so torn on a new board this year. After breaking 2 War Pigs and a Super Pig, I want to switch it up. Still carve a volume shifted board because I rock a size 13 ride fuse. Suggestions? So you want to mix it up, but you still want something that's volume shifted. Size 13. So you could do like a Telos backslash or a backslash carbon if you really want to spend some money. Otherwise, let's see. Good volume shifted carver. Like you could do like a Libtech short wide. That's actually not that bad at ripping a turn.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that one's kind of fun. Let's see. Nitro's got some stuff too. I was gonna say, like, you could do a Nitro Magnum because it's essentially an SMP. It's wider, and I think it comes down in like a 56, but you want to ride that more like accurately to size, but you'd still rip turns with it. But you could do Nitro Dinghy in a 155. What the fuck am I thinking? Boom, right there. That thing rips a goddamn turn. Completely forgot. That board is so underrated, the Dinghy. Like, fuck me running. That thing was so good. Like,
yeah.
We need to get you on that.
Otherwise, Jones Ultramine Expander. Otherwise, I mean, like, on the Free Carver 9000, you can downsize a little bit because you do have a longer effective edge on that. So you might be able to fit a 13 ride fuse on there on like a 62 on that, actually. I would check the waist width, but you might be able to because you have such a huge radius that there's not much of a difference between the waist width and the tip width.
Yeah. Okay, so we got this one from Josiah. What's the deal with Japan snow? I hear everyone talk about it, but how is it actually different? It's some of the lightest coastal snow you'll ever experience because it comes down through Siberia and it picks up all that moisture off the ocean and then it lands on the island. And then the other thing is their snow culture is so different. Like they don't believe in going into the woods because the evil spirits will attack them and stuff. So they're very different about how they do it. So you can literally be there and they get a 14-foot storm and there's nobody on the fucking resort at all. And they kind of just like open door policy everything. So basically the best way to sum it up is like you went to Beaver Creek. There's 5 feet of snow. I-70 is closed and it's you and the staff there. That's it. And you're on the groomers just riding 5 feet of wide open POW and there's nobody around in it. And they're just like, it's crazy. Like they have resorts over there where they have like the RF card and you just go by and it scans you and it charges you $2 for the lap. So you just pay by the lap. Like Japan is on another level. Like everyone should go experience it because we haven't ruined it yet. So yeah. Okay. And then we got another super chat from Kevin Gorchinski, which I think we owe him no, we got him a spin on the last one. But we're gonna give him another one. Another OG confused with new terms. Question is suggested stance width to be measured from inside to inside of bindings or center to center. Center of the binding to the center of the binding. That's where you want to be. From the middle of the disc to the middle of the disc will measure your inserts. Jesus, you got the same thing again. Hot soup coming through. All right. And we got Jason. Angry. Have you tried plastic boot stiffeners with those things go between the inner liner and the tongue? I've tried, like, I had some Burton boots that actually had it, that it was designed for, so you could slide it in to stiffen it up. And I've tried, like, some Solomon's way back in the day. Here's the thing. If you're putting an aftermarket one in and your boot has already built flex points and stuff, it's now going to be more restrictive and it can create pinch points and it can create obstruction points. So it's not flexing naturally. Like, do they work? Kind of, but they're really designed for a ski boot, which has a completely different tongue to it in its liner than a snowboard boot. So,
Mhm.
yeah. Okay, let's see.
If you're talking about the Vans ones, though, like those ones definitely do help. The problem I felt with them is I still felt those like, so they like kind of are J's that like hook in, and right where it met my ankle bone, I did feel that after like riding it. I could feel it just pushing right on top of my foot on that bone there on that metatarsal, and I just don't like it.
All right, from Colton Buchanan, finally figured out new technology. Thank you, gents. Keep up the good work. Do I need a Megadeth? Megadeth review drops tomorrow. Ask yourself that question after you watch it. 10 a.m. Mountain Standard Time tomorrow. Snowboard reviews drop one a day for at least the next 150 plus days. We've got a ton of content we're working on for you guys. Once TC moves up here next week, we're actually going to start working on the next round of stuff for Ben, our editor, to be working on. So he's editing right now as we go along. I think he edited something like 33 reviews last month, and he's between last month and the middle of this month, and he's still editing right now, and he's editing top fives. So we're going to have a ton of content. That's actually like you guys joining Angry Snowboarder VIP, that money totally goes to the editor, and us expanding and everything, super chats, everything you guys do goes so that we can make more content. But we are starting next week. We're going to sit down and make a whole calendar of when we're posting what videos, what content, when the deadlines are for everything. We are in this crazy time. So just to give you guys a heads up, but do you need a Megadeth? I don't know right now. Join me at 10 a.m. tomorrow, Mountain Standard Time, if you can. If not, leave me a comment after you've seen the review. We'll talk then. But, you know, there's definitely a possibility that you do. I don't know. Powder Daze. Christy Sports Powder Daze sale. It's going on this weekend, people. Get up to 60% off. I put some good sales down in the description. TC, do you like Powder Daze sales? You've worked them.
Oh yeah,
I've worked them. We've all worked Powder Daze sales. It's always a good time. If you're in Colorado, you should always swing in, talk to people.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Most of the time you're working them, you'll be like looking at it and be like, yeah, it's a great board. And you turn it over, you're like, $250. You better buy this right now. Yeah, otherwise, exactly. I might leave with it. Like,
okay, let's see. We got a super chat from Michael Werner. How will the El Nino affect snow in the Rockies? Northern Rockies tends to do better in it, and they just updated the weather forecast, so it's like the way the snow band is. We might start off a little weak, but it comes in like a lamb and it goes out like a lion. That's kind of how it goes in there. So the big thing is just pay attention to like where the jet stream is, what temps are doing. There's going to be pockets of places where some resorts are just going to be like getting absolutely murdered.
I forgot to translate. El Nino is Spanish for the Nino.
True story. Oh my God, we got more Powder Daze. It's all about the Powder Daze, people. Click those affiliate links. Seriously, though, the Christy Sports Powder Daze sale, if you're buying online and you go to their website, you can actually spin a wheel just like this, get up to an additional 20% off your purchase. So it's always good. All right, my knees are cheese. Found a good deal on some last season now. I'm picking between the Drive and the Select Pro. Love trees, side hits, and carving. Daily drivers is the GNU Rider's Choice C3 with the Mind Expander for POW. I would say you probably just want the Select Pro. Like, I think the Drive, especially last year's, because this upcoming season, this 2024 stuff, there's the Drive Pro, and the Drive CX. They basically, and the Drive actually for this year is actually softer than it was. So the last year's Drive is going to probably be too stiff for those boards. You want that Select Pro. Breaking news from Shed and Floyd. Buckhouse is still a poser. Okay. Daniel Fox. Thoughts on the new Rosinal Revenant? That's a solid directional twin all-mountain freestyle board. It's a little softer than other ones on the market, but it gets the job done. So, you don't have to worry about that. Yeah. All right. So, anyways, we've been here an hour and 49 minutes, hour 50. We're going to call it a day, guys. Thank you for tuning in. You guys have been great. We'll be back next week. TC will not be in the stairwell next week. Hopefully, we'll have the whole new production room finished for him at the new location, and we're going to be getting that. And you guys will also be getting a bunch of reviews. You get a bunch of TC reviews Saturday and Sunday, so you want to tune into the 3 minutes and 30 seconds of pure fury on Saturday. TC's reviewing the Battalion Cruiser, his new least favorite snowboard of all time. So
also, the first ever snowboard review I did.
So. Oh yeah, we spent an hour filming that. Maybe 2. I can't remember. It took some time.
It took some time.
So yeah. So no, thank you guys for tuning in. Thanks for all the support. If you're buying from CB Daze, use code Angry20. Save yourself 20%. That stuff is awesome. We got those sales affiliate links down in the description down below. Anyone that wants stickers, remember, email me info@angrysnowboarder with your mailing address. I will get those in the mail. But, as always, guys, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for the support. And we'll see you next week.
See you guys.